Hey everyone, Dan at Ochoco Bushcraft. I did a video for you guys a while back on what I call the bushcraft trifecta: knife, saw, hatchet. And when I teach people that they should have those three tools out here. I believe it just makes life easier. And if you look back at people like Nessmuck and Kephart and Krebs, they all carried a knife, they all carried a hatchet. The folding saw technology did not yet exist, but had it existed, I believe 100% they each would have had a folding saw in their pocket. And the fact that they would at times carry a buck saw or whatever the technology was of that day, that just supports the fact that they most likely would have carried a folding saw. So for example, here I am today. I have architect knives, 5.5 on my side. I have my folding saw, Silky Pocket Boy Outback Edition, and I have my Grand Force Brook hand hatchet. And this is how I will move through the woods throughout today with those three tools. And I have a Swiss Army knife in my pocket, kind of a backup with a little saw and things. But I want to show you guys one of the ways I use my hatchet out here quite often. I don't use my knife. I've used it in a lot of videos for fire starting, but I actually don't use it as often as I use my hatchet. And I want to show you how easy it is to use a nice, sharp, belt hatchet to get your fire material made. All right, guys, I've got my bandana laid out here on top of a stump, and I have been making curls. And the way that I presently most often make my curls is with my hatchet. I just turn it upside down, and I want to show you this. I've been working on this piece of wood right here, so you can see you can also make nice feather sticks with your hatchet. And I just use hold it kind of against my chest to hold it in place. And I'll turn this try to turn where you guys can see. So I'm leaving some up on the stick so that you guys can see. I'm also cutting some off down here to add to my pile. So that is just to save the edge on my knife. And for me, it's actually easier to get a nice pile of shavings. And if I don't want to be as deliberate, like I'm being a little bit deliberate to try to keep some up on the wood to make like a feather stip type thing. But if you don't want to be as deliberate, oh, I got wind coming up. Hang on, guys. Absolutely do not want to lose any of those shavings to the wind. All right. But if you don't want to be as deliberate, you can just quickly do the same. And as you can see, I'm still getting lots of curls up on the stick, and I'm getting a lot down here. So I'm going to move these into the pile, and we're going to go start a fire. But I just want to show you guys, you often, people completely depend on their knife to get their curls, to get their shavings, to get their fine wood for a fire. And a good hatchet, like the Grand Force Brook hand hatchet, is every bit as useful, if not even easier, to get your curls and shavings. And this thing is as sharp as it needs to be, and it's going to stay that way for quite a while for chopping and splitting and getting fat wood. This stump that I'm on top of, I've carved out some big chunks of fat wood to lay in my fire. And you know, I'm using this to chop branches if I want to get some boughs for a little shelter. So I'm saving my knife for the carving tasks and the things that I need it for, while using my hatchet for other work. And another thing that you can do, just a little trick here, if you're in a situation, you've got your curls and things, but maybe everything's just damp, or it's extremely humid, and you're really having a lot of trouble getting it going. I'm going to take a small piece of wood here, put it where you can see. You can take your ferro rod, and this isn't going to dull your hatchet, and pull my ferro rod across my hatchet. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. I'm doing it slow. But I actually have not only some shavings, but there's even a couple little curls in there right here from the ferro rod. So I can take those and put those in my curls and my shavings, and they're going to create a small flame, which is going to immediately combust everything else. And again, I still have an edge that will, ouch, pop the hair right off the top of my hand and almost take the top layer of skin with it. And my knife blade is untouched. It's ready for later today if I want to carve some traps, or carve a fishing spear, or maybe carve a pot hook. My knife, for the things I want to use it for, is reserved, and my hatchet is just making life out here that much easier and that much simpler. So this is a cool way you can use your hatchet for getting fire going. Let's go ignite this stuff. All right, guys, got me a little fire pit made, kind of a piece of wood here, so I can put my small twigs and things over the top of that. And let's see if we can get this going. There we go. And start laying a few of these up over the top. And then I got my fat wood, my bigger pieces of fat wood and stuff that I processed with my hatchet, to go ahead and put on here and get us a nice fire going. So there it is, guys. Just another way to use the tools of bushcraft in maybe a different way than you have ever used them. You know, maybe you have always used a knife to get your shavings and your curls, feather sticks, whatever. Maybe you don't even carry a hatchet, but I grew up using a hatchet. I think I was probably 7 or so years old when my dad was teaching me how to use a hatchet, and one of my chores became making the kindling and keeping the kindling box full for the fireplace in the house. So I have always loved using a hatchet out here. And again, hatchet is a great tool of bushcraft, carried by, you know, Kephart, Nessmuck, E.W. Krebs. You know, go back to the days of the mountain men, tomahawk, hand hatchet. And here's just another way you can use that particular tool. And if you're needing or wanting to save the edge on your knife, use your hatchet to get your curls, your feather sticks, fine material for your fire, and even to get some fine scrapings and little curls. I was really surprised to see some little curls unraveling off the side of my ferro rod by slowly dragging it across the blade of the hatchet. Hope you guys like this tip. Get out there and enjoy yourselves, guys. Spring is upon us. Wildflowers, birds, rabbits, squirrels, everything's out. It's awesome out here. Take care, everyone.